Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alisha and today I'm going to be doing my October TBR. So I am pretty late to this. It's about a week into October already and I have actually finished I think 2 books, but I'll talk about those books and the rest of the books that I want to read. I love October. I feel like it's such a fun time of the year and it has so many different kind of moods in a way. Like once we, first get into October, it's kind of like cozy time. You want to just curl up and read a book. And then towards the end of October, it's like spooky season. So then, I don't know, I like to read, more thriller, horror type books and like watch movies and things like that. So yeah, I feel like I have a bit of a mix of all of those things and all of those vibes in these books, but here's what I am hoping to read this month.
We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow.
So to start us off is a book that I was hoping to read in September, but I didn't get a chance to, and that is Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So this is a new release by this author, and Silvia Moreno Garcia is one of my favorite authors. I have loved almost every book I've read of hers. I've only read I think 3 so far, but they've all just been really great and really atmospheric, and they're also all kind of different genres. And these are like, she usually writes historical books, so they're all set in different eras. So I don't know, I love her books, I love her writing, and this book especially I am super excited about. It is, all I really know about it is that it takes place in the 1970s in Mexico City, and it's about a young woman who is kind of like in her own routine and I guess just kind of like doesn't really have an exciting life. And then one day she ends up finding out that a neighbor of hers has gone missing. And so this woman that's gone missing, she didn't really know well, but she somehow gets tangled up in like the investigation of what happened with this woman. And then at the same time in the 1970s in Mexico City, there was, I guess, a lot of like political uphaul and like problems and unrest and stuff like that. So it also has a kind of political activist group element, and like those two worlds of like a young boy who is part of this political movement as well as this girl, all both end up having to kind of work together to figure out what happened to this woman who went missing. So yeah, that is just all over the place really as a synopsis, but I'm just really excited about this. I love Silvia Moreno Garcia's writing style. I think it's really just beautiful and descriptive, and it just really puts you into the the culture and the setting of Mexico, because all of her books do take place in Mexico, as well as, again, like the historical periods. I feel like she really does a good job of bringing that to life. So yeah, I'm really excited about this book, and hopefully we'll get to it this month. And then next up I have In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. So this is a pretty popular book, I want to say. It did come out recently. It is a obviously thriller book, and I feel like this is a perfect read for October. What I have heard about it has been really good, so I am excited about that. And all I really know is that it's a bit of a I think like a dark academia meets a murder mystery type of vibe. So basically it is about a group of friends who are meeting after 10 years at a reunion, and they're all kind of like in different parts of their lives 10 years later, but they come back and they are kind of trying to figure out about a murder that happened 10 years ago to a friend of theirs. And I guess we're gonna see like how they've all kind of dealt with the murder, and where they are in their lives now, and then obviously who the murderer is. So yeah, I don't really know, but about the dark academia side of this, I could just be making that up, but I am really excited about this book. Now moving on to more of like the cozy side of October, but I'm hoping to read Normal People by Sally Rooney. This of course is a super popular book. I feel like it's especially kind of getting a little excitement for some reason currently, because I feel like a lot of people have been reading this and talking about it. And I don't really know much about this, but it says here, a wondrous and wise love story from the celebrated author of Conversations with Friends. So yeah, this is a love story, romance. I feel like I've heard that it's a bit more of a kind of contemporary, with romance on the side, or at least that's what people think when they're going into it. So I don't know if the romance is actually like a bigger part of the book or a smaller part, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of great things about this, and I've also heard great things about the TV show, so I am hoping to read the book and then watch the TV show and, you know, see if I like either or both of them. So I also want to read, I think it's called Always Only You by Chloe Lies. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is a romance book. It is in a series or like companion books because it's the Bergman brothers. And I haven't read the first book, but I had heard a lot about the second book, and it just seemed like something that I would enjoy compared to the first book, so I just decided to start with this one. And I don't really know much about this, but I do think it is a sports romance. So the main love interest is a hockey player, and then the main character is, I think she is on the autism spectrum, and also is dealing with like a chronic illness or something like that. So it definitely has a lot of representation, which I love. And I believe it ends up, it's like sort of like a grumpy sunshine dynamic, and there's like some mutual pining involved, and I don't know, I've heard a lot of great things about this, and I'm really excited to read it. So I'm also hoping to read Know My Name by Chanel Miller. So this is a nonfiction kind of memoir book, and I haven't read a lot of nonfiction this year, and I really wanted to work on that and read some more. And I have heard so many great things about this book, and I feel like it's, you know, a really important book with a really important message. It does, I think, deal with like sexual assault, sexual harassment, things like that. And it's very, I just think, you know, poignant for the, I guess, current climate, political climate we're in. And I've heard that the writing is magnificent, and just all around, this like book has so many rave reviews. So I'm definitely hoping to read this, and especially, you know, there's only what 2-3 months left of the year, so I'm definitely trying to read a few more nonfiction books just to kind of expand my horizons, I guess. So then next up, these books, the next few are more for the spooky time of this month, closer to the end of the month. So first up, I have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This, I don't know how popular this is, but I have heard it be mentioned in a lot of like horror thriller recommendations, especially, you know, for this time of the year. So I really did want to read it. I really don't know much about this. It says here, a tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition. Seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. 4 American Indian men, after a disturbing event from their youth, puts them in desperate struggle for their lives. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I also just love this cover, and I if this is like pure horror, I'm not too sure if it is, but I don't really read a lot of horror, so I don't know, I feel like this will be a fun, you know, entrance point for the horror genre. And then next, I have another, actually, I think kind of popular book, but that is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. So again, this is another book that I kind of had been hearing some talk about, you know, especially with the current month and all of that. So yeah, I think this will be perfect for the Halloween spooky time, and another book that I don't really know much about. Says, a young woman living in a rigid patriarchal society discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. So yeah, this is definitely, obviously, you know, with witches, fantasy. I have heard it actually is like a really great kind of smashed patriarchy vibe, so we love to read that. And yeah, I've just heard a lot of people absolutely love this book, so I'm really excited to get to this one. And then another one that I have been meaning to read for so long, and I thought this month would be the perfect time, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I haven't read any Erin Morgenstern yet, and of course, like, she's a beloved author, and I really want to read this and The Starless Sea, but I thought I would start with this because I think this is the first book that she put out, and I don't know, yeah, you know, we got the night, we got the circus, and I'm hoping for some specific vibes based on those words. I don't know if this is kind of like, I feel like it's kind of a Caraval vibe just because of, you know, the circus and all that, but all this says here is, the circus arrives without warning. No announcements preceded. It is simply there, when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called Le Cirque de Rêves, and it is open only at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. So yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a fun read, and I've heard so many great things about Erin Morgenstern's writing, so I'm super excited about that. And I don't know, it's kind of giving me some Caraval vibes, some When Dreams Descend, is that the name? And I really love that book, which I have read, and yeah, so it's just giving me a mix of different vibes. So I'm hoping I also love this. Now for the last couple of books I have on my TBR. First is My Sweet Girl by Amanda Jayatissa. So this is a new release, and I don't think I've heard like a lot of people talking about it, but I have been kind of like anticipating its release, and I heard about it a few months ago, so I'm really looking forward to it. All I really know is that it is about a child who is in a Sri Lankan orphanage who gets adopted by this American family. So she moves to America and is pretty well off with her adopted family, and assimilated into the American culture. And then now in current day, she I think is like 30 years old and is living on her own, and ends up getting a roommate, I think, in her apartment in like California. And so I guess there's some sort of relationship or dynamic between her and the roommate, and there's just this secret though that she has and that she doesn't want anyone to find out, and the roommate ends up either finding out or becoming aware that she's hiding something like that, and that leads us into a whole bunch of things happening in the book. But yeah, I don't know, I love first of all the representation. I feel like especially in some genres, you don't really see a lot of diversity or representation, and I feel like thrillers is one of those. A lot of times thrillers end up being either kind of domestic thrillers where you have, a white family and these like rich people problems, excuse me, or it's just, I feel like the thriller genre is just very white, is what I'm trying to say. So I love that this is, has a Sri Lankan, Indian sort of representation, and I feel like obviously it's not, a main point of the story, like it's still a thriller at its heart, just with some representation. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I just love to see that. And then lastly, I have one book that I'm probably super excited, like the most excited to read this month, and that is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. So this, of course, I think is a pretty popular staple of the dark academia spooky season genre read. I think this gets recommended in almost any, thriller dark academia video you watch. So I too have hopped onto that train, and I'm really excited to read this. Is anybody surprised? Don't know much about this book. All I do know, I think, is that it's a group of people, and I think one person is like a murderer, and they have been put into jail. That's not making any sense. Let me just read you what this says. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day he's released, he's greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colborne is retiring, but before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. As one of 7 young actors studying Shakespeare at an elite arts college, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, and extra. But when the casting changes and the secondary characters usurp the stars, the play spills dangerously over into life, and one of them is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. So yeah, that sounds just super intriguing as a plot, but I actually really like kind of thrillers and stuff that have detectives in them, and like that side of the story, which I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, because I've heard a lot of times that people don't like, a detective's perspective, but I just think it's really interesting, and I think I just adds to the fun of the story if it's done well. So I'm excited about that. And of course, I love, a group dynamic. I love kind of a whodunit mystery here. So yeah, I'm super excited about this, and I've heard nothing but good things. So, you know, I'm hoping this book lives up to the hype. So those are the books that I'm hoping to get to in October. I kind of rushed through a lot of the plots and stuff, but I feel like, you know, that's the most fun way to get into a book without knowing much about it. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you next time.